What's good, YouTube? It's Tyron again with another video. If you're watching this video, that means you either watched part 1 of my ABCs of Gym Talk video for beginners and you're waiting for me to finish out the rest of the list, or you're jumping the gun and you're trying to get ahead of the curve. So what I'm going to advise you guys that haven't already watched part 1 is to go back and watch it. I'll wait. Are you back? Alright, cool, let's go. So when we last left off on the list, we were at letter M, and the terms I'm going to be using are macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients and micronutrients are just dietary terms used to describe the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to intake on the daily to maintain our overall health. There are only 3 macronutrients, those being carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. These, along with calorie count, go hand in hand to make sure that you are maintaining your overall health outside of just exercising in the gym, and make sure that you are meeting your weight loss goals or weight gain goals. As I stated in part 1 with caloric deficit and caloric surplus, you can play around with your daily maintenance calorie count to mold your body and manipulate your body weight to your desired physical appearance. Whether or not you want to slim up your body or whether you want to bulk up a few pounds, that's entirely up to you, but it's all dependent upon the amount and the volume of macronutrients and micronutrients that you intake in your daily diet. Examples of micronutrients are calcium, potassium, iron, sodium, vitamins A, B, C, D. There are other variants of the B vitamin that are out there, but the list goes on and on. But the one thing that you should take away is that you need both macronutrients and micronutrients in proportion to maintain an overall balanced diet and for you to perform well in the gym. Okay, next we got N, and the terms I'm going to be using are newbie and newbie gains. I've touched upon this concept already in one of my earlier videos this year, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to go over it again. Newbies basically are what you are watching this video right now. You're interested in the gym, you've seen what it's done for others, and you're wondering if it can do that for you. And as a one-time newbie myself, I can absolutely guarantee that it can do that for you, as long as you're consistent with it and as long as you're serious about it. As a newbie, you're trying to gain all the information that you can. You're trying to look up all the pointers, tips, and tricks that you can from people who are more experienced than you in the gym. I know all about it. I was in your same shoes about 2 years ago, so I know how they go. And luckily enough, this is exactly what this channel was made for. I made it specifically for beginners who are interested in getting started or who have already started and need some tips and tricks to get them further along the way. This is exactly what this channel was made for. So if you are a newbie, if you are a beginner, and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and hit the button for me. I try to post content weekly, but being a husband and a father, that kind of takes time away from me being able to devote to YouTube. So I just post as often as I can. But I love helping people. I love being in the fitness space. I love being able to give people tips and tricks because I want to be that same person that I wanted when I first started. So yeah, I hope you guys stick around to watch future videos. But yeah, on to newbie gains. Newbie gains is a term that I've touched upon in one of my early videos, as I've already stated, but basically it's described as the rapid increase in muscle strength and mass that beginners experience when they first start weightlifting and exercising. So not only will you look bigger in a shorter amount of time, you'll also get stronger faster than other gym goers, which already gives you an advantage over most people. The reason this happens is because your body is not yet used to the stimuli that comes from lifting weights and exercising, so your body is able to adapt more quickly than other gym goers. So you'll be able to lift heavier weights in far less time as opposed to other people. But I will advise that you take full advantage of the newbie gains while they're there, because when they're gone, they're gone. As soon as your body is accustomed to the weightlifting stimulus that you've already put yourself under, and you take a break or you're not as consistent in the gym going forward from that, it takes your body longer to regain that level of weight training back. So just be mindful of that. Next we got O, and the term I'm going to be talking about is 1 rep max. The term 1 rep max refers to the heaviest amount of weight that you can lift 1 rep, and is usually reserved for the big 3 lifts, which are squats, deadlifts, and bench. Whatever weight is at your 1 rep max is considered the absolute peak of your strength, and you should base all of your weight training around this number here. A good rule of thumb that I abide by is using anywhere from 70 to 80% of my 1 rep max number to base all of my strength training and my bodybuilding training around. So say for instance your 1 rep max on bench press is 225. 80% of that number is going to be 185, give or take. So you're going to base all of your strength training around that number. As opposed to your bodybuilding training, you're going to take, I would say 70% of that, which is 160, give or take. And you're going to base your bodybuilding training around that number. The more that you're able to exercise with 70 to 80% of your 1 rep max, the more that you're able to engage in progressive overload, which funny enough is the next term that I'm going to be discussing on this list for the letter P. Progressive overload in layman's terms is basically working out with heavy weight, and as soon as you're comfortable with working out with that weight, you add on more weight on top of that. And then you get used to that weight and add on more weight on top of that, and so on and so forth. Another rule of thumb that I abide by in my own training is not only modifying the weight, but the set range as well. So let's take me doing the lat pull down exercise. I'm able to do 135 pounds for about 10 or so reps. So as soon as I don't feel that same muscle engagement and that muscle stimulus that I did when I first started doing 135 pounds, I'm gonna up the weight to either 140 or 145 and then drop the rep range to about 8. That way, when I get comfortable enough with that, I can start doing 140 and 145 for 10 reps, and then I'll go up again to 150 or 155 and drop the rep range to 8, and I'll just keep going with that until I get as strong as I wanna be. And you can use that same logic with any exercise that you do, whether it be a compound exercise like bench press, squats, deadlifts, shoulder press, or an isolation exercise like bicep curls, tricep extensions, whatever else that you may think of, or a unilateral exercise that we're gonna talk about later on this list. But you can use that same logic and the same concept of progressive overload with any of these exercises. Another term that you're gonna hear often in the gym that you're gonna base all your gym progress around is PR, which is personal record. Personal records only really matter to the people who are actually achieving those personal records, but it can be used as bragging rights in the gym as well. I know I've used it a couple times, so. People can use PRs in the gym for whatever they may want to use it for, whether it be for 1 rep maxes or triple sets or 4 rep sets, 5 rep sets, whatever that you can think of that you may want to use a PR for, a personal record in your opinion, you can use it for. Okay, now we're gonna move on to Q, and the only term that I can come up with are quadriceps, or quads for short. Quads are the big meaty muscle on the front side of your thigh that you mold during basically any lower body exercise. Whether it be Bulgarian split squats, whether it be goblet squats, whether it be barbell squats, Smith's machine squats, or whether it be lunges, side lunges, whatever lunge that you can think of, whatever squat you can think of, 9 times out of 10 is gonna work out your quadricep. Quads along with hamstrings are gonna serve as the base of power for any lower body exercise, and by molding this, you're gonna give your legs the 3D sculpted look that's gonna set you apart from other people who don't work out legs. So yeah, never skip leg day. Okay, now we got R, and the term I'm gonna be talking about is reps. Reps are short for repetitions, and this describes how many times you can perform an actual exercise in a given set. There's really no rule as to how many reps you can perform in a given exercise set. It's just all dependent upon your own individual goals and your desired physical appearance. I will say that there is a such thing as overtraining, so I would try to avoid high rep ranges in my exercise sets, as this can lead to muscle atrophy and you doing more harm to your body than good. And the same thing applies for the next term that I'm going to be discussing on this list for S, which is sets. Sets are the groups of exercise repetitions that you perform as part of your workout routine. And much the same as repetitions, you try to avoid high set numbers to avoid overtraining. In part 1, I gave my personal opinion on the best bodybuilding rep range and set range, but I'm gonna give it here again. Me personally, I believe that anywhere from 3 to 5 sets of an exercise is optimal for bodybuilding purposes, and with the rep range, I believe anywhere from 8 to 12 is the best rep range. If that doesn't work for you personally, you're more than welcome to modify this to your own leisure and customize this to your own workout plan, but that's just what works for me, and I believe that they can work for you as well. Okay, next we got T, and the phrase that I'm gonna be talking about is time under tension. This is basically describing the length of time that you subject your muscles to exercise stimulus during the exercise. There are 2 areas during any given rep of an exercise set that time under tension can be emphasized on. That is during the concentric part, or the contracting of muscles during the exercise, or the eccentric, or the elongating or relaxing of a muscle during exercise. To increase your time under tension during either one of these phases of your exercise, all you have to do is slow down each one of your reps to ensure you're getting a deep stretch in the muscles that you're working out. Now, disclaimer, there isn't exactly any scientific evidence to prove this concept, but I feel like me personally it's benefited me in my gym routine because I feel like it's increased my chances of hypertrophy, muscular endurance, and increased my power output. Again, what works for me may not work for you, but I feel like that you may benefit from employing this concept in your gym routine. Okay, next we got U, which is gonna be unilateral exercise. This term basically describes exercises that are being performed on one limb. Examples of unilateral exercises are split squats, lateral lunges, single arm shoulder presses or single arm chest presses. Anything that's performed with one arm or one leg or just one limb in general, that's considered a unilateral exercise. The main reason that people perform unilateral exercises are to correct muscular imbalances in their bodies, whether it be one arm stronger than the other or one leg is stronger than the other. That is to correct that by performing unilateral exercises. Okay, next we got V, and the term that I'm gonna be talking about is volume. Volume refers to the cumulative number of exercise reps and sets that you perform for an exercise routine. So say for instance, like you perform 4 sets of 10 reps each. If you do the math, you multiply that, you'll get 40 reps of a given exercise that you just performed. And you can also take into account weight volume as well. So say for instance also that we're performing bench press at 135 pounds. You're performing 5 reps at 5 sets each. You take that 5 and 5, multiply that, you get 25, and then you multiply that 25 by the 135 pounds, and then you're gonna get 3,375 pounds of weight volume that you just lifted. And just like many of the other terms on this list from part 1 and part 2, you can use both weight volume and exercise volume to help you develop muscular endurance and strength over time. Okay, last but not least, we have W, and the term that I'm going to be talking about is warm-up. And I use that term, last but not least, very literal. Making time for warm-up exercises in your workout routine is very important. These are going to be the exercise sets that you perform to give your body the stimulus needed to prepare to lift heavier weights. There are 2 rules that you should abide by for warm-up sets. For 1, they should never be overdone, and then for 2, they should be nowhere near the weight of your working sets. These exercise sets are done solely to get you warmed up and to prime your muscles and joints for the weight that you're about to be lifting afterwards. That's all they're done for. In my opinion, you should only have 1 warm-up set for each exercise that you perform on a given day. That way it doesn't take away from the strength and the endurance that you're going to need to perform heavier reps and sets of the exercise going forward from that. Okay, we've made it to the very end of my ABCs of Gym Talk term list. Hope you guys learned something, and I hope you guys enjoyed the 2 videos I made. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and comment down below. Let me know what I can do for future videos, and turn on those post notifications so you can be notified whenever I post future content. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.